Martin's learning.
Jimmy's doing all these things. That was never an option. In all the last year of me using it, that has never been an option.
Do you think it was a new thing, or did you just sort of discover it by accident?
It was there.
Mm.
It was literally there. I have no idea why.
All right, so
But
probably
anyway, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is the Walking Skull. We're just going to start here because this is the Insomnia podcast where me, Martin Walker, the walking part of the Walking Skull, has been up since 4:30. And Sean has been up also since 4:30 because in the lore of the show, we share a bed.
So that explains the kick. So that explains the scratching and the kicking. It's so weird. But yes, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Skull part. It's me, Sean Scullion, along with a very tired but still fully functioning Martin Walker, here to bring you more
I'll get
media
our sponsor
goodness.
in quick. Pepsi Max. That's the reason I'm functioning.
I thought it'd be more Red Bull or more coffee. I thought that'd be more your style.
It's whatever I can get my hands on, to be honest.
That's fair.
But this is the show where I'm going to get into something and then, but I'll explain what the show is. This is a show where every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on my mood, to be honest, because now that the world is not on fire, every 2 weeks me and Sean normally spend it, with each other and another 2 people, my roommate
Yeah.
and Rhiannon, who occasionally listens to this. So hey,
Hello.
although she keeps on complaining that she can't tell the difference between mine's and yours voice,
Really?
and I never thought that was a thing that would be a thing, but it is a
I
thing.
mean, if anyone is confused, let's make it simple. Martin is the very chill Scottish sounding one, and I'm the one that sounds like and I'm the one that sounds what would
Sean
happen
is
if you plopped a 5-year-old in front of Toy Story and then he come out sounding more Canadian than he do Scottish.
yes, I'm the chill sounding Scottish one, and Sean's the chill sounding Scottish one.
Hey, damn it, Martin! I just explained to them. I just explained the difference. Don't make me do it again. Don't make me get the chalkboard out. That'll be worse because no one will know what I'm talking about. It'll just be a combination
Yes,
of
because I'm
chalk,
not going
talk,
to
and
do
talking.
video this.
Mm.
I don't video this, so you
I
can get a
know.
chalkboard if you want, and you just want to show off you bought a chalkboard. To be honest,
I know, Martin. Damn it, Martin. Just don't. Listen.
to
I
edit, just
fooled my.
shop. Anyway, me and Sean get together every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on my work schedule and Sean's lack of a work schedule, to talk about the programs we've watched, be them television or movies. I'm actually concentrating so hard on explaining this right now.
It really sounds like it. It sounds like if you fail this, there's going to be like a massive X sound, like you're on a game show. Like it's kind of amazing concentration, although at the same time it makes me really concerned.
Oh, yeah. For the
Like if
people,
you,
well, Nana's listening. Hey, Nana, this is not a drunk or high podcast. Currently, we've not
oh
done
no,
that yet. We might do that
if it's
the
one
next
of the
time Emily's on. We're going to do that probably.
if it's one of the two, nothing would get done. Let's be honest. It'd just be 3 hours of the three of us just
Or
rambling, and it'd be great.
it would be the most coherent podcast ever. Because when I'm
Imagine that.
blackout drunk, I apparently hold the best conversations. So
Yeah, but no, generally, imagine that. Imagine if like you get drunk, I get high, Emily's also high. The whole thing becomes the most coherent, masterful thing we've ever done, and we'll just sort of be like, wow, we could have turned up at the radio course intoxicated, and we could have probably done a good show.
it wouldn't have changed my life any more than it has. So
It'd be like us retelling the story of that movie with Mads Mikkelsen another round. Although I haven't seen it, but I have heard it's very good, and I really want to see it.
So, Sean, anyway, what topic would you like to talk about?
Oh boy. Well, we have maybe not a bunch, but we have a short like amount of stuff I like to talk about. Well, I kind of want to talk about two things. One is kind of the little thing I need to kind of get out of the way first, and then I'm going to get onto like a big one that I highly recommend because it's worth your time, I believe. Okay, so the quick little one. Sean finally watched Invincible, and it was very average. It's the sort of
You though, Sean.
yeah, yeah. What do I know?
Did you?
But yeah, no, admittedly I had to skip an episode or two just because I kind of found some of it, especially after the first episode, kind of boring. So yeah, but before I swiftly move on, I'm gonna drop a bit of a controversial opinion here about everyone's favorite show, Invincible. The voice acting is what keeps the show from being mediocre. Everybody on that show was great. Okay, pipe bomb. I'm done. Let's move on to the main topic I want to mention here. Show wise, I've been watching a lot of this Apple TV show that currently had its second season. I think broadcasted in 2020 or in 2019. I can't remember, but I think it's more leaning toward 2020. That being the Emily Dickinson show, Dickinson, which is a cool title, and it stars Haley Steinfeld, Ella Hunt, Jane Karowski, Toby Hughes, or Hughes. Hughes. He has a weird sounding last name.
I'd pronounce it Toby Huss.
Huss.
Huss. But I also,
Huss.
if you've listened to any of these things, I never pronounce anything correctly, so I wouldn't listen to me.
Dude, neither do I. It's fine. We work together in that sort of like field. Anywho, so Dickinson is essentially about that. It's about the character of Emily Dickinson, how she wants to be a great poet, how she lives in a time where like women can't are not allowed to like write and become these big famous like people because the patriarchy is a bit of a shithead. And yeah, it's a very creative show. Like when you have a subscription to Apple TV, where you sort of get done with like some of the bigger ones on there, like Ted Lasso, and then Ted Lasso again, you're kind of a sort of like, man, I want to watch some more cool ass content. Cool
Oh
ass.
yeah. Oh yeah. To date this podcast, we are 2 months. No, we're not. Shut up. We're a month away from season 2 of Ted Lasso. So get ready to talk about that, everyone.
Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, I kind of stopped myself because like I said cool ass. I don't know if anyone else has like used that in a sort of positive term before. Anyway, so um so you're after a while you're kind of just like, I want to see what else Apple TV has to offer, minus the morning show that they keep promoting for some reason, and that Mosquito Coast show that no one seems to really care about. So I decided to check out Dickinson with Haley Steinfeld, and surprisingly, I kind of dig it. I really like it. Excuse me, I'm really sorry. I'm halfway through season 2 right now, and it's already kind of a vast improvement over season 1. Not that I have any major grievances with season 1, maybe a couple of like pacing issues, but besides from that, it's just such a great show. It's very creative the way they sort of like deconstruct and examine the character of Emily Dickinson, how they make her this sort of like very complex character and this very ambitious character, and you watch her in this world where characters um have these complexities to them, where her dad, for instance, is for the most part a likable character, but there are instances where he's like, no, we must abide by the rules of the current timeline that we're in, and it's like, oh dude, you're kind of a dick, but you're all right, but still kind of a dick. And you got all these like really charming side characters in there. Her siblings are just wonderful in the show. Ella Hunt, who is from the musical horror film. Oh no, I forgot the name. It's a Christmas movie that has zombies in it. That's what I can remember. Hold on, I think I have it on my Netflix list. I'm just gonna take a look at it right now.
I can
Just
tell you. I can tell you. I can tell you.
let's see if we can beat each other. Let's go. Let's go. Let's
Well,
go.
I'm literally reading it, but okay.
Anna and the Apocalypse. I found it. I found it. I did it. I found it. I did it. Yes. I
Tell me
found
what the
it.
poster looks like.
Dude, I just scrolled for Netflix. It was just like hands and a candy
Tell me
cane.
what the
That was
poster
it.
looks like.
I'm not gonna. Well, okay, fine. From
Well,
IMDb. From IMDb. I'm gonna tell you. Shut up. It's got Ella Hunt with the candy cane doing like a big pose, and there's zombies behind her, like trying to eat her and or something. Is that it?
nope.
God damn it. I failed. Anyway, so it's got her in it. She's really good. Haley Steinfeld also is just she's really good in the show. It's probably one of her best performances.
She's good in the most things that she's done, to be honest.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Ever since True Grit, the Coen Brothers remake of the John Wayne
Well,
Western.
debatably.
Well, don't tell me you're not a big fan. Don't tell me you're not a big fan of the 2010 classic that is the True Grit remake with Jeff Bridges as Rooster Cogburn.
Yeah, no, it's with the cowboys and all the horses and that.
Yeah, I guess. I guess so. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But yeah, she
I haven't
made
seen
her.
it.
Why would you make me defend you then? Being like, oh, that's fair. It's someone else's cup of tea. Sorry, I haven't seen it. What? Well, oh, there goes my defense of you, Martin.
Here's my secret, Sean. I've not actually seen any of these shows. I just make it up.
That explains it because I remember watching like Invincible, and you said a cool thing happens. And I'm like, wait, nothing cool has happened yet. Add in drum sound effect somewhere.
I could mute you right now, motherfucker.
Yeah, you could. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
I've got at least 19 people waiting in the wings to replace you, Sean.
Wait, 19?
Jonathan James Scullion, you behave yourself and get on with the show.
That's a surprising amount of people in the waiting line. Like 19?
I don't even think I have 19 people that like me. So
how many? I mean, well, I don't even think it'll match the name. How many like Scullions have you found?
19. We've had this conversation.
Okay, anyway, back to the show. So yeah, Dickinson is definitely one of the better like
still
stuff.
talking about that. Right?
Oh, shut up! Oh, so Dickinson is definitely one of the better stuff that Apple has on their roster. It's a very entertaining, very well written, and surprisingly engaging show because it's for the most part it's a period piece, and with the costumes and the setting, you kind of think it'd be a very Downton Abbey-esque show where they don't particularly do anything interesting with it. It's just what it is and does what it does in the tin. But what the creators and the writing team do with it is that they kind of modernize the dialogue, but not in like the sort of like cringe fashion. They do it in a sort of way where it's like, oh, so this is probably how the characters would have spoke. It's like a sort of like translation, if you get what I mean, because the target audience is clearly for like the age of is clearly for like teenagers and probably 20-year-olds, I guess. I don't know. And then there's also the music. The soundtrack choices in this show are really good. It's one of the reasons I think you should probably check it out. You might not care for any other aspects of it, but I think you're really gonna like the soundtrack choices because they're unique. They're very like cool to use in a period drama. It's essentially like how Quentin Tarantino will use like a modern song and put it in something like Django Unchained, Inglorious Bastards, or The Hateful Eight, and the result isn't like a bad. The result isn't bad, and is not like a negative to the ears. It kind of matches the overall vibe of the scene they're
Give
going
us a
for.
tease, Sean. Give us a tease. Tell us at least one song that was on it.
Oh, okay then. I actually no. I shouldn't. I don't know why I'm panicking because I actually had to Spotify somebody's. Not Spotify. What the fuck? I had to Shazam some of these. Shazam. I had to Shazam some of them just because they were really catchy. So if I find a few, I will let you know what the songs are. If Shazam decides to load up and not be a bitch today, you know what I'm
You know what
saying?
that means? The fact that we both said Shazam and nothing's happened. Neither of us are that superhero. So
Yeah, I know. I sometimes I stand out in the street and I scream Shazam at the top of my lungs and nothing happens. I get people who look at me weirdly, and I'm like,
yeah, but that happens anyway, Sean.
yeah, I know. Even if I take a step out the house, someone's always looking at me funny. Like, hey,
And that's just your mum.
Jesus, dude.
That's Sean again.
Oh,
Jonathan James Scullion.
All right. So I think it could be right. One of the songs that does appear in the soundtrack, I think, is Megatron Man by Patrick Cowley, which is a pretty good tune. Let's see here. What else is there in the?
Just the one. Let's not ruin the show for everyone.
I'm trying to look for the other song.
Just the one, Sean. Just the one.
Martin, I'm trying. Oh, just
Sean,
the one.
just the one.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought
Let
you
me
wanted
move
more.
on with my life.
Okay. Jeez. Stop. But yeah, Dickinson's really good. You should definitely check it out. It's currently got 2 seasons on Apple TV. The third one I think is either being filmed or it's coming out at the end of the year probably, but probably being filmed. But yeah, it's a good show. I recommend it.
Well, there'll be a lot of stuff that's actually being filmed now that the world is slowly not on fire.
Well, absolutely. So I imagine like they're probably like either filming it, probably in the editing bay right now, or it's just getting ready to sort of like launch. But for the most part, we still got Ted Lasso season 2, baby. So come on, we gotta.
Yeah, that's ready to go.
That's ready to go for sure. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Me either. I definitely, like, my brain just shut down mid-sentence.
It got so excited for Ted Lasso, it just collapsed. That's fair. That happens. I get excited for something, and my brain kind of just goes, "Yay, this thing!" Oh no! I need the words. So, Martin, what have you been watching, good sir?
Well, good sir, I have been watching several different things. A few that I will talk about. A few that I can't legally talk about because I'm going to make up embargoes right now. They're not real embargoes. All the shows that we watch are shows that no one will give us for free. We've got to buy them. But I have been watching the Netflix original, I believe. I'll just double check that. That's a lie. I'm not double checking it. But The Irregulars, which
Oh,
is a Victorian, I'd say, teen drama
Hmm.
that follows a bunch of, it's the usual Victorian people, because I think, what is it, Downton Abbey is the only thing that's ever followed the posh people. It's
I
a
think
bunch of troubled youths that live on the street, have been dealing with supernatural things that are happening. Like one of them, who I will double check the actress's name because she's actually probably the best part of it. Darcy Shaw has got powers where she's able to see certain things about certain people. And they slowly get brought into it by John Watson. And yes, it is that John Watson, who's played by Royce Pearson, who is quite a decent British actor. Basically, if you've seen him in something, you like him because
yeah,
he's normally that kind of guy.
yeah. Before you continue, I could be thinking of the wrong person.
Don't ever cut me off, Sean.
Oh no, I'm sorry, but I just need to get this question answered. But if I'm thinking of the right guy, I've seen him in stuff before. Bit of a handsome dude. Am I correct
Yeah,
in saying?
definitely a handsome dude. He has
Yeah.
been in most recently for people who are a fan of the British shows. He has been in Line of Duty and Our Girl, which will probably mean nothing for anyone else. But for the international folk, he was in The Witcher as as Istred, who there were so many people in that show. I honestly
Yeah.
could, I know what he looks like, but I couldn't tell you what he did. He was a magic
Yeah.
person, maybe.
Same. I can if I was able to point him out face wise, I'd point him out. But in terms of character name, I'm sorry, no luck. I'm sorry.
Either way, he is they are all very good people. As I said before, Darcy Shaw is probably the best person in it. She plays a character called Jessie, and they are a group of teen youths, which I don't think there's adult youths. That's a weird sentence to say. Who are
I think that's what like older generations call like people in their 20s. They call them like adult. What was it you said there? I think
youths.
youths, adult youths. I think that's what like older boomers tend to call like 20-year-olds, like running around. Look at that adult youth over there, running around thinking they're hot as shit. I'm back in my day.
But basically, you have got them kind of. There's an overall story that they're all trying to figure out where there is supernatural things happening in Victorian London. Like there always is. You're walking down the street, there's just a vampire attacking you, and you're like, oh, it's a Tuesday then. But they are kind of creature of the week and an overall story. The main cast of it are actually they're okay. They are obviously I'm crap at acting before I even finish this sentence. I'm rubbish at everything when it comes to pretending to be anything. You've got Mikhail David, I'm gonna screw up her name, Thadia Graham, Jojo Marquis, Harrison Osterfield, and Darcy Shaw are your main group, where Harrison Osterfield's character is actually from the Royals, like if whatever queen was in that world at that point. In fact, it's the Victorian era, so Queen Victoria.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's probably Queen Victoria, but I don't know much about the era myself, so don't worry, we're probably on the same boat here.
Yeah, and it is basically that. It's just sort of, it's not amazing. The acting could use a bit better work. It's not the acting. In fact, I'll rephrase that. It's not the acting. The writing is a little bit predictable. And the acting is the best they can do with what they've got. Like, there's certain lines. I wish I had written down one, but there's lines that are just ridiculous. Like, no one who is a human has ever said that sentence.
Like, it's been advertised a lot by Netflix. I was kind of tempted to watch it myself, but I'm not really been. But because like it's set in the world of like Sherlock Holmes, because hence why John Watson's there. I've never really been like that fond of any Sherlock Holmes stuff, and I don't know. It just doesn't. It just didn't really appeal to me, so I kind of just left it.
Speaking of Sherlock Holmes, actually, before I move on to anything else, Sherlock is actually played by Henry Lloyd Hughes in this. And if you're sitting there going, I recognize the name, he was really randomly the bully in the In-Betweeners.
Donovan.
Yeah, he was Donovan in the In-Betweeners. And he plays Sherlock, and I genuinely think this is the most I've ever heard him speak ever.
That is kind of incredible. Like, it makes me happy that like he's now playing, like he's now like cast as one of the biggest like fictional characters ever. Honestly, good for him. Like, that's really cool.
And
Also,
he doesn't try and be Bernard Cumberbum. He doesn't try to be Robert Downey Jr. He
excuse me,
definitely.
excuse me, Martin. I believe the right name you're looking for is Engelbert Humperdinck. Okay, come on, get with the program.
I said that. I said Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, he brings his own stuff to it. The same with Royce. I've forgotten his second name. Mr. Pearson.
Handsome man.
Yeah, they both bring their own stuff to it. They're not trying to be either of them. Like they're not trying to be the Guy Ritchie duo. They're not trying to be the BBC duo. They're bringing their own thing to it. They're really compelling to watch. Because a vague spoiler off the show that doesn't actually like spoil the whole thing, but they play more into the fact that probably back then Sherlock was a heroin addict. So there's a lot of stuff that the reason why the kids are helping Dr. Watson is because Sherlock is on a binge that and he does not know where Sherlock is.
That makes sense. My initial thought was going to be like, oh, he's in rehab, so they have to do like this sort of like comedy plot where it's like, oh no, Sherlock's in rehab. We have to set up a new group so they solve all the weird stuff that goes on in London, or what we usually call down here, every old regular Tuesdays.
Yeah, usual Tuesday, vampires. I just really want to get my carrots. That kind of stuff.
Pop out the window, you see a ghost walking around, you're like, it's Tuesday, innit, lads? There's a ghost down there. Let's get the regulars on this case.
But yeah, it's pretty good. To be honest, it surprised me in bits that I won't say, but the rest of it was vaguely predictable. I'd watch a second series. It was interesting enough where I'd want to know where it goes from how it finished. The cast can only really, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, the cast can only really get better, because when it's a cast that's also growing up together and acting together, they normally are better casts in the end.
Yeah, well, of course. Like, if they're young actors and they're going to be getting a season 2, they're probably it's going to give them a chance to like work on their craft a lot more. You know, so Definitely, I think that's something to look forward to, just because like it's definitely worked before with a lot of shows and even films where you see actors grow up in front of you and they become a lot more better and a lot more talented as they go along, and it's like, yeah, it'll definitely help them. Like one, like I think I think because it's the first season, so they're all just sort of like getting to know each other. So the chemistry is probably going to be there by the second season, and they're all going to be like trying to like up each other in their own like acting game, not in a negative sort of sense, but in a sort of sense of like, right, here's what we can do. Let's bring this to the table, and we're all going to do it together as a team effort. So it's definitely more of an advantage more than anything, you know.
I'm just going to double check. I think it might be a set of books, but I could be wrong.
I think actually no, I think they're definitely a set of books because the title, The Irregulars, is definitely familiar. Like, so I think like they may have had books based around them, but I'm probably not going to read them because I'm not really fond of the Sherlock Holmes stuff as a whole. It's just never been my cup of tea.
I think it is something written by Mr. Conan Doyle himself.
Hmm,
Because I have
that's a,
two different irregulars, one written by Roald Dahl of The Weirdest People. In fact, no, I've mispronounced that. Roald Dahl, the full title of a different book is The Irregulars, Roald Dahl and the British Spy Ring in Wartime Washington, which actually sounds quite interesting. So that might be a book I read.
Insomnia Brain demands you buy the book.
Let's not do that. I was freaked out this morning watching nothing, to be honest, because it was that misty. But
Yeah, I saw the photos. You sent me photos. I think the way you described it to me was you woke up around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and your brain kind of told you for some reason to go to the beach, which you did, and you sent some photos that were like really foggy, kind of misty, and pretty eerie, and there was people there, and it was kind of weird, and it's like, dude, um, dang, your brain's weird.
yeah, it happens. But anyway, The Irregulars, it's worth a watch. I'm not going to tell you it's a must watch. It's no Ted Lasso to bring him up for the fourth time. Please sponsor us. Um,
Apple, please sponsor us. We'll do anything. We'll even
I'll
watch
take
the
even
football.
Jason Sudeikis as a guest star.
In fact, no, give us Jason Sudeikis. Give us everyone that's been on Ted Lasso. We will ask good questions.
Wait, I'm gonna talk about that in a sec. But yeah, it's on Netflix. It was doing quite well when it initially came out, but I'm not sure if you actually have to go looking for it now.
Yeah, it was definitely in the top 10 whenever I jumped on Netflix, either to scroll around or to actually watch something. It was definitely in the top 10 for a while, but I think since then it's been pushed off, and then you have like other stuff pretty much reigning in the top 10 right now.
Speaking of casts that are growing up together and being a family and all that stuff, this is something you may not have seen, but did you see the Richmond boys outside of a Chelsea match getting interviewed in character?
Yeah, you're telling me
Like
about
we
that.
went to go see a football match, and in character they were everyone, and they just the guy had no idea that he was interviewing a TV show,
Yeah,
but it
like
was definitely quite funny.
I remember you telling me about that. I went over to visit you. We talked, and that was one of the things you talked about how they interviewed the essentially the actors who play the football team, and all of them pretty much just did the interview in character, which is really cool
They
in a
didn't
sort of
even like interview the actors too. Like I watched the whole interview now. They just interviewed them as fans. They automatically went into being the characters in their head, which is
hmm,
just that shows you people who act together, even after one season, how
mhm.
tightly knit you can be. That you've all
Yeah,
had
man.
that idea and just went on with it.
Yeah, like a sort of like telekinesis thing. You all just simultaneously agreed. Let's promote the show and do this in character because no one really asked, but it'd be quite fun to do. And it just sounds like a really fun thing to do. And the fact that even like fooled the interviewer is kind of incredible. How the interviewer didn't really stop and ask themselves, "Hold on, are they? portraying like characters, or are these genuine people? It's quite well done in terms of like performance. Just to sort of suddenly go character interview, and it works out like gangbusters.
It definitely shows something that me and you know as people who are subscribed to Apple TV, where Apple, you need to promote your shit better. This is a show filmed in Britain with mostly British actors, and not enough people know about Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I know, dude, but come on, listen. It's no morning show. It doesn't have Jennifer Aniston. It doesn't have Reese Witherspoon. It doesn't even have
No
Steve
morning show.
Carell.
It's no too damn long for its own.
It's, I know, man. It's no morning show. Hell, it's just what are you gonna do? I'm gonna. It's gonna be nightmarish if like Actually, no. I kid
Don't
myself.
bring Scorsese in again, Sean. You
No,
bring him
no. I
in
was just
all
gonna
the
say that. No,
time.
no.
We get
I
it.
was
You
just gonna.
love Scorsese. God,
Oh,
Scorsese.
I know. I was just gonna say that. I was like, no, Sean, shut up, because they actually did end up promoting his new film, and you get footage of it. It's gonna be promoted non-fucking stop, like how Netflix promoted The Irishman. So yeah, what am I saying? Of course, Apple are gonna do that. They'd be foolish not to.
Anyway, Sean, this is where we normally do our big topic, but something has changed this week where
Oh,
I'm going to move into the microphone a little bit better, even though I don't listen back to this. So this could sound utterly rubbish.
but it does sound very intense. Go on, Mister Martin Walker. What do you have to say for yourself?
We have actually both watched two things together, Sean. And since it is your turn, Sean, to bring up a topic slash film slash TV show to talk about, out of the two that we discussed earlier on, which one would you like to be yours?
Oh, well, the two things that we're going to be discussing. One I watched last week, so it's very recent. So I might talk about that. One I watched I think 2 weeks ago when I was visiting our friend Emily. So we just decided to watch a movie. So I think that was been a while back, but again, I can't exactly remember when that was.
Yes, listener, my invite was lost in the mail.
But I'll tell you what though. I will think we'll start off with Army of the Dead, which was the new Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Continue to
I
talk.
heard, yeah, sorry, I heard something earlier on that I got thrown off, and I was like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
Sean, it is the zombie
Yeah,
movie
if you're edit,
while Zack Snyder is currently riding high.
yes, we are okay. I'm gonna restart that again. So if you're gonna edit it to take
I'm
this
not.
apart,
Just keep going.
okay. I'm sorry if anyone's hearing this. Yeah,
Let's just Army of the
right.
Dead. Just go. Go.
Okay, Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead is Zack Snyder's new movie. It's his first original IP thing that he's done since Justice League, and it stars Dave Bautista, Ella Purnell, Theo Rossi from Sons of Anarchy, and a whole bunch of other people in there. And it's a zombie heist movie. That's right, a zombie heist movie set in Las Vegas where a zombie apocalypse has broken out. And Scorpion from the new Mortal Kombat movie comes down and he's like, "Hey, I need Batista. I need you to assemble a team that go down to Las Vegas and rob a vault because it's got so much money in there. You and a team can split with the awards, but careful though, there are zombies and they're pretty angry." And there we go. That's the that's the film's brief premise that I think I recaptured. Netflix, hire me to redo your premises. Don't even have the captions. Just have a video footage of me being like, "This show or movie is about this thing, and it's really fun." It'll be great. Anyway, so
I'm just the fact that you belittled Hiroyuki so much as
I'm sorry, I couldn't remember his name. Like his name appeared, but it's like
just as the guy from Mortal Kombat.
I know.
He's been in
I
everything.
I know. I
He's
feel
most
like I.
importantly, he's been sumo villain in the Minions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect the classic character actor. Right?
Or Mr. Musha in Speed Racer.
Don't forget about the Yakuza man from Avengers Age of.
Racist.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it was terrible. I don't even know what his character's name in that movie was. Like he appeared for like one scene and then was never seen again.
I think he was more of a hey, it's that guy
Yeah,
like
yeah,
cameo rather than a this is a main actor.
yeah. Let me tell you, that is a waste of Hayuki Sanada. That man is a fucking talented actor for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Hayuki Sanada has basically set up this whole heist thing that he hires Batista to go off into, And let me tell you a little brief story, folks, about my relationship with filmmaker Zack Snyder, and also unwilling God to a very angry, very scary cult. Zack Snyder, I think, is a good filmmaker. The guy has made pretty good movies and knows how to like direct. I stand by that Watchmen might be his best one, and I feel like whenever like project he does a good job enough, but he always works with like the worst script or just doesn't really know how to like do character stuff, especially when it comes to like some of the comic book characters like Superman. It's just not it's not great. So
In his defense, before you go further, Superman, the problem with Superman is everyone wants to do the same thing again and again and again.
hmm,
Like if you took, they're always like, take the super out of Superman. No, don't. I want to watch aliens
hmm.
fight each other.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
want that.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so the thing about Zack Snyder I find kind of interesting of Army of the Dead especially was how this came after his whole the Justice League extended cut that came out this year, and which I didn't watch because I'm at a point there where I just really don't care about it. So yeah, sorry, shrug. Anyway, so you get to Army of the Dead, which was something I honestly wasn't really looking for. I wasn't really looking forward to. I mean, it looked dumb, but not in the sort of like way where I was like, I don't know, I don't think I'd ever watch it. But then I started hearing good things about it, and I was sort of, and you know me, I like to give things a fair shake. I don't really want to be that guy who's like, no, I'm not going to watch an original thing from Zack Snyder because, no, I want to give it a chance. I want to give it a fair shot. So one Tuesday night, I buckled up and I said, you know what, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna
Yeah, you
watch
pushed
Army
the
of the Dead.
vampires away. You went, I've got my carrots. I don't need any of these vampires annoying me. And then you switched off.
Yeah, like I got rid of the vampires. That Tuesday's been sorted out, and then I sat down and watched Army of the Dead. And let me tell you, I was kind of surprised by Army of the Dead. Don't get me wrong, it's a very stupid film. It's very stupid, but at the same time, it's very entertaining. I found a lot of the cast members to be very enjoyable. Like they all looked like they were having fun. I kind of even found its heart to be kind of decent, even if the sort of like comedy drama elements kind of got mashed up together in a very weird, incoherent way. And I just thought overall it was a dumb, fun movie. I mean, it was a bit too long for its own good, but hey, I had a pretty good time with Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. I thought it was pretty fun.
I thought it was, we've already discussed this, but I also thought it was really good. I only
Mhm.
had one real problem with it. And it was like, I like, what was her name? Ella Purnell, who
Mm,
plays Dave Bautista's daughter in this. I,
yeah.
I really didn't need the, oh, I'm coming in to go and I get why they did it, but I really
Mhm.
didn't need the, oh, that woman that I liked, she came in even though I told her not to. And I need to come in and then go save her. I felt that added a bit too much to the movie that it didn't need. Like it was good. Well, I'd say great, debatably great for what it was, because it Zack Snyder made something that he knew what it was. It's a heist zombie movie. It's
Yeah.
definitely a different take on zombies, which I was
Mhm.
actually looking forward to because I think zombies were successfully killed, eh?
For,
As a
for a lack
genre
of a
a
for a lack
good
of a better
5 years
term, they
ago.
were
Yeah,
killed.
I thought it was a really good take on the thing. That was my only real problem with it. I felt that we didn't
Yeah.
need that part of the plot, but I
I mean,
thought otherwise I loved Van and Dieter. I thought they deserved
oh my god.
so much more
Oh
screen time.
dear.
They were the greatest. They were weirdly they were the comedy like side in my opinion. Even though we had what's her name who was the pilot.
Yeah. Oh, we had Tig Notaro in there.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, do you know how she got into involved with the movie?
yeah, the CG stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit of a crazy story. So they ended up. So I won't mention the original actor's name because kind of a scumbag. Look it
I
up if you
will
want to.
actor
Yeah.
actor comedian who weirdly played a pedophile in the TV series You turned
Oh
out
yeah, that made, that made, it
turned
so
out
much
to
weird, didn't it?
also have Now, I won't say that it was young girls because I genuinely don't know. But obviously, there is a different age of consent for America where it is 18. So I won't
Yeah,
even say the word technically. Legally, anything under the age of
mhm,
18 is a bit iffy, depending on what state you're in.
exactly. Yeah,
I'm personally more
that
wrapped up
dude.
in that.
Yeah. So yeah, that dude was originally going to be playing the was originally going to play the role that Tig Notaro was going to play, but then the allegations came out, so he got booted off in the role. Only issue was they filmed a lot of the stuff, so they got Tig Notaro to replace him. And what they did was that they used like a lot of green screen for her performance to sort of put her in the movie, and even like had one of the other actors come out to sort of film with her. And it's very like well done. Like it's not even noticeable. That was one of the things I
Yeah,
found
it's
really remarkable about
really
her
not
appearance.
noticeable. Like
Yeah,
I
like it's
genuinely, if it wasn't for the fact it was all over Twitter and like random videos on TikTok, because I'm a youth who watches TikToks, I wouldn't have known.
aye, not only that, but it helps that like Tig Notaro was really good. Like she was awesome in that role. Like genuinely, get Tig Notaro to be in more movies. She's wonderful. She's great. But on a bit of a little thing I want to mention is because you mentioned the name, and I kind of want to have a little moment. Dieter, dude, I love Dieter. He was my favorite. He was my favorite character in the whole movie. I loved him. He was my favorite. I kind of feel like that'd be me in that situation, just running around looking really cool with that shirt and whatnot. And just I don't know. I like Dieter. He was cool. He was out of all of the big muscle bound army dude characters, he was kind of the only character I kind of felt like I could kind of relate to, just because he was out of his element compared
Definitely,
to.
that's kind of what I loved about the thing was the fact that even the safecracker was jacked.
Like,
Like they
don't
had a lot of like it was so great that they were just
yeah.
all muscle bound. Like obviously, if Tig wasn't brought in
Mm.
later on, I imagine that she would also be jacked because everyone in that film,
Well,
obviously not to the state of Batista, because Mr. Batista has had
yeah.
years to be
Mm.
as shredded as he is.
Yeah, would you imagine if, like, with more time, everybody, and I mean everyone, extras, just all become suddenly jacked, and the whole film is just everyone running around with these bulging muscles, and
That
it
was
just be.
I'd debatably like that better.
I think it'd be like a throwback to the sort of 1980s movies where like everybody looked like that. Just it didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter what role you had. You all had to look so massively jacked. It was like watching a professional wrestling promotion running around, and it's you know. But yeah, Dieter was my favorite character, and just to give the guy credit, Dave Bautista was also really good in it. Like he's continuing to prove that he's a very good actor, probably the best wrestler turned actor out of those who've tried the whole wrestling turned actor thing. The guy knows how much he's worth in terms of talent. The guy like is clearly having fun with the roles that he's choosing, and I just love the fact that like he's doing some of the best work right now compared to like say Dwayne Johnson or even John Cena. But I think John Cena is more of a different kind of like acting style altogether.
Yeah, we've spoken about it before. John Cena is definitely a great to amazing comedic actor. I don't
Oh,
know
for sure.
why they were hiding it in WrestleMania for ever, but he's definitely and when it comes to Dwayne knows what he is, if that makes
Mm,
sense. He
yeah.
gets that he will always be. That's why I loved him in Jumanji, both Jumanji 1 and 2 of the new
Mhm.
set, because he was playing a different character. I thought that
Oh,
was
for
really good.
sure. Yeah, I think the thing with Dwayne, though, just a brief thing I mentioned, is that I feel like Dwayne knows he could try something that's like different and kind of unique. I just think we have to probably wait a while until we see him like try something that's a lot more different compared to the roles that he does now. But
I'm pretty
anyway,
sure he's thinking that ahead. He's wanting to surprise us with like a serious role. He wants to be like blah 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 blah. Because we don't know. Black Adam could be a serious role.
for sure, like it's there. Like for me, it's like not that I'm like a big talent scout. It's just I feel like there's something there that he
Sean, you're
needs to
not a
crack.
talent scout.
That's what I'm
There's
saying.
not
I'm
even
not.
a big talent scout.
We yeah. That's a
Well, when you said I'm
we,
not a big talent scout, it made it seem like I'm a medium to small talent scout. You know, I do
I just meant
understand.
in the broader. I just meant in the broad sense. I'm not a big talent scout. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to get technical and go? No, I'm not an actual talent scout. Disclaimer: it's fine. I
Yes,
don't know how the
yes, Sean.
acting
That's
works.
exactly what I wanted you to say.
Right. Okay. Let me read you the disclaimer then, just to cheer you up and make sure everyone's like, "Hey, he's not a big talent scout." I would state for the record that here that Sean Scully is indeed not a talent scout. I repeat, indeed not a talent scout. Indeed, not even a big one. Okay, is that cleared up?
Yeah. Let's get
Right,
back
it's
to the
cleared up.
movie. In fact, just because I've been looking it up while you were talking about the stuff, the person who Tig replaced, it was for eliciting pictures rather than it being any sort of thing, just to cover
Yeah,
our ass a little bit there.
yeah, still pretty bad though.
It's still a bit weird, but
Mm,
it's not as bad as it seemed. If
yeah,
that comes out badly, I don't mean it to come out badly. It's not like
mm,
he forced them to do physical things. Let's just forget about this whole thing.
yeah. You don't. It's okay, Martin. You don't have to focus on it.
I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just trying to cover our ass. This is all
Yeah,
allegations to this point. There has not
yeah,
been a firm arrest in
yeah.
any way.
Well, at the same time, we're like a podcast with like 12 people listening. What's he gonna do? Oh no! My eagle's been attacked by two people on a podcast somewhere in Scotland. Oh no! What are you gonna do?
You don't know nowadays. You don't know. And if I get sued, I don't know about you, but if I get sued by anything, I've got no money.
That I guess that's true. But yeah, I mean, it'll
Anyway,
probably be
back to Army of the Dead.
yeah, back to Army of the Dead. Batista's really good. The majority of the cast is really good. Even like the lore of the film that they have set up, I think is quite interesting. Like they've got a prequel lined up. They got an animated series lined up to do. So they've clearly like have got stock in this as a franchise, which is definitely like a good approach. And you know what? I'm happy that Zack Snyder got to make this, just because Snyder, like, again, I think he's a very talented filmmaker, and I feel like now that he's like out of like the whole superhero shit, he can finally just start making like movies he wants to make. And I can't help but feel kind of happy for him, especially with like some of the heartfelt stuff that he has put into the film that feels that he definitely had something to do with that. And it's like, yeah, man, I could definitely see that this kind of felt like therapy for you. And you know what? That's amazing. And I can't help but feel that Zach must be a better person overall for it. So for the sort of like things they say about the film, it's a big dumb kind of whatever. Zach kind of feels. I feel like Zack Snyder kind of got what it was, and just he made it.
Yeah.
Everyone had a good time, and I can't really fault anyone for having a good time. Even if the movies is kind of dumb and kind of silly, but
And also, this is purely rumors, but I'm pretty sure Netflix is very good for just standing back. Even even if this whole Warner Brother thing didn't happen, they're very good at just sort of being like,
yeah,
here's a couple million, do what you do.
at this point, I don't even think it's a rumor. I think at this point it's well established. Like Noah Baumbach, Martin Scorsese has went to Netflix because of the fact that like Netflix not only like gives the filmmakers that a certain amount of money to make the movies they want to make, but they even like get them campaign for Oscars and whatnot, and just sort of like there's more of a financial like net there, if that makes sense. Because you'll get filmmakers that'll try and make the weirdest experimental like thing they can, but if it's released to cinemas, it might not even make all its money back. Where Netflix, they've got a net there. It's all good. It's all fine.
And
Like,
I'm pretty sure there was an interview with the guy who did the Old Guard, the actual like comic book. Kevin Smith on one of his several podcasts with Mark Bernardin. They interviewed him, and I believe this is obviously insomnia brain trying to remember stuff. They give you analytics like straight away.
yeah,
As soon as it's up, they go, "Well, you're doing really well in these 9 countries, but the other 10 haven't got it yet."
mm. And one thing I do find interesting as well is that like if you look at the stories of like films like The Five Bloods or The Irishman, they were originally in development but like never really got made due to like certain reasons as to why. And it isn't until like Netflix kind of stepped in and went, okay, you want to make this? Here's money. Here's distribution deal. Come on over here, friend. Let's make this movie happen. So it's definitely like more of a great. It's definitely like a great relationship to have with filmmakers, where it's more like they can feel creatively fulfilled while having a safety net to sort of land on. So it's definitely like really good. And like the fact that Zack Snyder got to make a movie that was like his version that didn't get tampered with, it's just great. It's a great thing to see in terms of creativity.
Anyway, Sean, our next big topic that obviously you stole Army of the Dead from me So I'm going to bring up this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even. I didn't even realize you wanted to do Army of the Dead. I didn't realize you were that big of a fan.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's
Are
fine.
you
It's
sure?
fine. It's fine.
Because
It's fine. It's fine. Sean, it's fine.
I don't want to wake up one night and you're hovering over
Sean,
me with
it's
your
fine.
fist over my
Fine.
face, like
Sean,
you stole
Sean,
Army of the Dead.
Sean, it's fine. Anyway,
Remind me again. Is it fine?
separately and together, because we live together. This is all just a show. But we watched Raya and the Last Dragon, which is a great little Disney movie. You know, that small independent show. Disney.
Oh yeah, I remember those guys. They're really rising up at the ranks right now. They've bought everything.
Yeah. Never
what underdogs.
Complete underdogs up until this year. No one ever knew who they were. This is Raya and the Last Dragon, which was meant to come out probably around about this time last year, but obviously there was the issue with the world being on fire. And it is the story of Raya, who is little Raya, played by is it Kelly Marie Tran, I believe is her name.
It's Kelly Marie Tran.
And they live in a world, or in fact, you know what? Let's play the IMDb again. I'll go find the plot. In a realm known as Kumandra, a reimagined Earth inhabited by an ancient civilization, a warrior named Raya is determined to find the last dragon, hence the title, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Thank you. I need that clarification today, sir.
Just in case you were confused. But the cast was great. Cast is everyone from Kelly Marie Tran, who's I tried to say that too many things. Stop having three names, because there's also Daniel Day Kim in this, and he's got three names, and I'm sick of people with three names. Stop
it. Oh, dude, you're really good.
Either Daniel or Day. Don't care otherwise. Or Kelly or Marie. I don't need to read out the three. Mrs. Tran. And you have her playing Raya, as previously mentioned. You've got Aquafina, who actually I liked. I normally don't like Aquafina and stuff, not from like any sort of, oh my god, I hate her. I just don't really like the character she's playing. But I liked her in this. She plays Sisu, the dragon. Isaac Wang plays Bon, who's a kid. Gemma Chan, who plays Namiri. Mr. Day Kim, because he just has to have a third name. Plays.
Dude, you're going to get harder like anyone who has free names. I mean, I've got to be honest with you though. You're gonna absolutely hate There Will Be Blood. It's got Daniel Day-Lewis and it's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. You're gonna have a hard time trying to tell people who's in it and who made the movie.
I just went. It's good. It's got folk in it. It's got folk with 5 bloods. Benedict Wong and the man of too many voices to count. Let's be honest. Mr. Alan Tudyk plays Tuk Tuk.
Alan Tudyk. I did not know. By the way, but it wasn't until after I watched the film that I saw Alan Tudyk's name, and I remember just sort of being really surprised because again, you wouldn't think that was Alan Tudyk, but I think at this point he's essentially now became the John Ratzenberger of Disney's animations films.
He only really plays animals. Is the great thing. Also, not like in the most recent films, he's played animals, and that because he was the chicken in Moana. He's probably something in. Is it Luca that's coming out later on in this year? He's probably whatever lead animal that is. He's still probably playing whatever animal that is.
They're probably going to get John Ratzenberger for that thing, Martin. Like I just said, he's the John Ratzenberger of Disney Animations thing. It wouldn't make sense if they got both John Ratzenberger and Alan Tudyk. It'd break people's brains. It'd break my brain.
You mean John Ratzenberger, by the way, whenever you're saying that?
Yeah, am I not pronouncing it right? Isn't it John Ratzenberger? Am I pronouncing it okay? Am I pronouncing it right?
You said it weirdly the first time.
John Ratzenberger.
I think they're actually Pixar's cutting down on John Ratzenberger, to be honest, because he wasn't in the last He wasn't a main character in the last one, I'm pretty sure, because he
Well, he
is
wasn't.
74.
Yeah, he's in Soul, but he's a background character. I think what they're doing now is that they're kind of like putting him in more background roles, which is fair because what kind of role can you give to John Ratzenberger? Like, this
He just did it again.
John Ratzenberger. Damn it! Now you have me subconscious.
You're saying it. You're saying it wrong. It's just say Ratzenberger. You're going Rats
Ratzenberger.
and Burger. You're really in that, like, pronouncing the "an" for some reason.
John Ratzenberger. It's hard been pronouncing it like for years. Have I been pronouncing it wrong for like that long?
No, you're not pronouncing it wrong. You're just putting weird enunciation in certain parts. You're making it sound like Rats and Burger. It's Rats
like
and
I'm putting
Burger.
I'm putting like emphasis on a certain word within the name.
You're weirdly putting an emphasis in the middle of the name, and that's it.
Damn, now I'm gonna be subconscious every time like someone asks me like who's gonna be in Luca. So Sean, who's gonna be in Luca? Oh, this person, that person, John Rat. Just say the name, Sean. I can't. Why? I'm very self-conscious about saying the name.
But anyway, it's to go off of this trail. Raya and the Last Dragon is a very, very good movie. It's basically it's like Moana and Frozen and all that stuff, where it shows you a different world. Like if they were to tell you that all these were in the same universe, I would believe it. Not just because the animation is the same, but there are also many different worlds that would really work together lore-wise.
Like I remember like the Raya and the Last Dragon. I was initially going to wait for it until it was like free on Disney Plus, but I remember like I went to visit like our friend Emily one day, and like I think and this was kind of unplanned. We kind of just decided, hey, while we're here, let's watch this movie Raya because it's like an hour and a half long, I believe, or like 1 hour and 40 minutes. So it was one of those like things where I was like, hey, cool, let's check it out. So we watched it, and I gotta say, I was pleasantly happy by how good the movie was. Like, first off the bat, animation, dude. The animation in this movie, it's terrifying.
What was that sound effect you did?
It was the bat. It was like it was the bat. Yeah, it was the bat.
You're not very you're not that sporty a person, Sean.
I know what baseball is. I'm not going to tell you the rules because I don't know what the rules of baseball are. But I do
just
know
the fact that is your noise of something hit. That's like a spittoon from the Western.
Isn't it? If it's like a spit from the Western, wouldn't it be more like a?
I don't know. It's definitely not the sound you made for a bat, though.
Okay, now I'm gonna be subconscious about that one. Anyway, so animation. Animation is the animation is like terrifyingly great. When I mean terrifying, the water and the grass and everything around the characters and even the characters themselves have got realistic like elements to them, like the clothes and even like Raya's even like Raya's hair. It's scarily realistic, and even the dragon's like hair is like realistic, and it's weird, and it's kind of incredible how like the animation looks great. But that, and I've got to agree with you here, the voice acting overall is just wonderful. Like you've got, like it's about damn time that Kelly Marie Tran gets a lead role, which she deserves more of because she's super talented, and she's just wonderful. And it's really good to see her get this role, and she's just wonderful in it. Along with like Daniel Day-Kim, who plays her father, Gemma Chan, who is just wonderful, has the antagonistic force in the movie. Aquafina, who continues to just excel in whatever she does. This movie I feel kind of plays to her strengths, and this movie I think kind of plays to her strengths in terms of like comedy and drama. And you've also got Benedict Wong in there, who was in Doctor Strange and played.
He was in more than just Doctor Strange.
I'm trying. That was all I could think of for the moment. We stop? Sure, I know, Martin. You've got IMDb right in front of you. I'm sorry.
He plays Wong. He's Wong.
Wong. He plays Wong in Doctor Strange. Anyway, he's really good in the movie. It's just a terrific cast overall. And you've got Alan Tudyk in there, has Tuk Tuk, and I didn't even know who he was until the credits showed up, and and we all just saw it. I was like, "Look, pause! It's Alan Tudyk's name. What? It was pretty cool.
Alan Tudyk just needs more out of everything.
And
He needs an Oscar. Even if they invented an Oscar for like a man who's played 1,000 voices, and you always go, "Oh shit, it's him."
the man needs an award, even if
They
even if
need
he
to call
somehow
it the "Oh shit" award, because when you read his name, you go, "Oh shit."
just for the sake of it being clean. How about the that guy award, where Alan Tudyk and the other terrific character actors like him will be honorary yearly recipients of the that guy award, because for
No,
just like the amount of roles they do. Like
no,
for instance,
you
Margot
ruined my
Martindale.
award.
We could give Margot Martindale that award. It'd be great.
Not well. As much as I love Mrs. Martindale, she's normally not like a vocal actress. She's normally you go, oh, it's her, because you're
but
like, oh, I know what she looks like.
but
The
still
fact that Alan
though.
Tudyk has played a chicken, a pig, and whatever Tuk Tuk is in the last couple years, and still manages to make you go, why didn't they just hire a chicken?
Have you worked with a chicken, Martin, in the voice
I
spoofing
work
the
with a chicken
impossible?
right now.
Am I the chicken in this scenario?
Yes, I thought that was obvious. And Alan Tudyk then still plays stuff like Resident Alien and all this other thing, and goes about and lives his life as an amazing man. This is the Tudyk podcast, like last episode was the JK podcast. Alan Tudyk just
we're,
needs
we're changing things up again, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Alan Tudyk podcast.
Alan Tudyk just needs everything. He deserves
Just
everything. I want
I
more with him and Nathan Fillion because they're best mates, and it's great to watch.
Alan Tudyk would be great to put in. Is great to put in anything, and I do hope that one day, even if it's for like Resident Alien, I doubt he'd win for it. But even if he got an Emmy for Resident Alien, I think that'd be pretty rad. Just because I kind of liked his performance in Resident Alien, purely because of the fact that like not only does he have to do like a lot of like strong comedy stuff in there, but there's even some moments of drama that like feels really genuine, and you're like, oh, dude, you're just going for it right now,
Yeah.
aren't you?
But
Anyway,
anyway,
so back to Raya.
yeah.
Back to Raya. This is back to the Walking Skull podcast. We're now talking about Raya and the Last Dragon, which, by the way, we may have been talking about it for far enough, but hey, it's a really, really good movie, and definitely
Watch it.
um
You've not watched it. Watch it already.
watch
Nana,
it
we
because
have it on Nana. This is me talking about Nana. Nana, we
okay,
have it on Disney Plus because I bought it.
mm,
So just look it up and you've got it.
it's there. You'll have it there forever and ever until the Blu-ray and DVD's out, so you can probably buy it right now. But yeah, it's probably one of the best animated Disney films to come out in a long time. Hell, I'm not the biggest Disney animated fan in the world, and I'm probably gonna get the Blu-ray because it was a
Sean
pretty good
Flying,
movie.
he knows every word to let it go.
You got me. You got me. I was tempted to suddenly burst in the song, but I thought, no, I don't even know the rest of the lyrics. All I have is
He's
just
lying.
Ascension. I called him. I called him. I remember hearing him singing outside. I called him. And I was like, "Haha, you're singing the song," and he was like, "No, no, I'm not."
Ryan the Last Dragon, though, watch it. It's from someone who plays video games regularly. It would be a great world to be in because it seems awesome. We basically, what I love is the fact that we've talked about Raya for the last like give or take 15 to 20 minutes. We've also not mentioned the plot whatsoever. That's how great the thing is. We've not even touched the plot.
Yeah,
That's
like
how good the movie is. We've talked about the cast for 20 minutes.
yeah, like when you have a movie that has everything going for it, where don't get me wrong, the plot itself is wonderful, but when you talk about all
I
the other
kind of don't
things
want
in
to
there.
talk about the plot because I don't want to ruin it for
Oh, of
people.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the best part. The plot we're not going to get into just because like the way, let's just say, and I'll try to explain it the best way I can. Don't worry, Martin. I'll try not to spoil it for for anyone listening. The best way I can personally explain the plot, or in terms of how what I thought of the plot, is it's got a great hook to it by the end of it, and it's a good message, and I'm going to leave it there because the more I go on, the more I'm just going to probably reveal further. And I don't want to spoil such a great film for y'all listening right now. It's really good. Trust us. Even if you're not the biggest Disney stan in the world, don't get me wrong. The company isn't that great either. Not clean, but hey, they made a pretty good movie right now, and it's very good, and we recommend it. kind of like Army of the Dead, except this is kind of better because I didn't laugh at characters like basically being like axed off essentially.
Mm. And it's debatably it's quite a good martial arts cartoon as well, because there is
Oh, for
obviously the
sure.
use of that. But let's bring it home, Sean, because we've been
Bring it.
talking for over an hour now. So,
Yeah.
what is your last program or film you would like to talk about?
So my last one, I've actually decided to do a bit of a change on this one, purely because the show I was going to say, Superstore, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. It's a pretty fun sitcom about people who work in a store, and it's pretty fun. But I mostly watch it in the sense where, like, I watch it when I have breakfast or eating dinner, just to sort of take my mind off things and whatnot. So instead, I'm going to probably recommend a show that's currently on Netflix right now that no one, I believe, is talking about right now, and that is the GQ Quintel show Close Enough, which currently had season 2 of the show released.
So, what you're doing is that even though we set this up beforehand, and I had all the IMDb's ready to go, I
I'm
now have
sorry,
to
Martin.
talk
I'm
over the
sorry.
sound of me typing up Close Enough.
I'm really sorry. It just I have Netflix like open in the background right now, and I saw it there, and I was like, I could talk about that because it's really good. And yeah, sorry, it's a bit of we're in a bit of a pickle here today, ladies and gentlemen.
We're not in a bit of a pickle. You put me in the pickle, Sean.
Yeah, but I should warn you, ladies and gentlemen, by the time this is over, Martin's gonna kick my ass right now. I'm gonna get like a verbal takedown. It's gonna be like J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, where it's just gonna be nothing but like not my tempo.
Or it's going to be a physical knockdown like J.K. Simmons in Omni-Man.
It just becomes the end of Invincible, where it's like, "How dare you make me look up close enough?" Boom, whoosh, just get dragged to the Himalayas. Think, Sean. Why would you
Or
make me?
or like J.K. Simmons in Kung Fu Panda 3, or like J.K. Simmons in it, or a verbal one like J.K. Simmons in as J. Jonah Jameson, or anything else he's in. I do love
Basically,
J.K. Simmons, but he does play angry men quite a
yeah.
bit.
Basically, Martin's going to pull a J.K. Simmons if I do this again, and I'm really scared because I do not want to be beaten to a pulp in the Himalayas in the middle of nowhere.
Anyway,
um,
Sean,
so
close enough.
close enough.
J.G. Quintel.
Yes, it's a new show created by the GQ Quintel is no, it's G. It's really weird to pronounce it when you're like on a
J.G. Quintel.
JG Quintel. GG Quintel. Okay,
Who's a
JG Quintel.
mystery man.
Oh.
According to IMDb, he has not got a face.
He does. If you go on Wikipedia, you can see his face, but IMDb is just weird. So GG Quintel's new show, Close Enough. It's a show that in America was picked up by HBO Max, and we had no news of getting it for a while. It wasn't until like 2019, 2020, where we finally got it like dropped on Netflix thanks to an overall distribution deal. And now we have the second season out, and the second season of the show, like the first one, is very good. Essentially, it's got the same humor that Quintel's previous show, regular show, has, where it's very weird, kind of out there. They focus on very mundane, adult-oriented plots. Like, I don't know, say the main character decides, "I got to pay my taxes," but before he has to do that, he gets involved in a Dungeons and Dragons kind of quest where he has to go through a lot of hoops before he has to pay his taxes. The show has got a lot of weird plots like that, where there's a very casual setup, but that leads to a very fantastical thing happening where the characters have to overcome said fantastical thing that leads to a more overall lesson learned. And it works for the most part, and in Close Enough, it's really good. And what keeps the whole thing kind of together is not only the comedy of the show, but just the characters. They're pretty good characters. You got Quintel playing a character called Josh, and his wife Emily, played by I think you have the IMDb there. Could you say your name, please?
No.
Oh no!
It is played by Gabriella Walsh.
Yeah, Gabrielle Walsh, who's really good in it, along with Quintel. The pitch of the show essentially, overall, is that they play a husband and wife, or more or less a partner duo.
Would you like me
Josh.
to play the IMDb game?
No, you don't have to. I'm going to try my best to explain it. It's fine. So you got Josh and Emily, played by Quintel and Gabriella Walsh, who live in this condo apartment complex with their daughter and two roommates. The character of a character played by Kamiko Glenn, who I don't remember her name. Bridget. There we go. A character called Bridget, played by Kamiko Glenn, and Alex, played by Jason Mantzoukas. Did I pronounce that correctly? Because I think I'm. Yes, I did it. Played by Jason Mantzoukas, who were once engaged, but who were once married, but are now divorced, and they essentially live with each other, where they all have to sort of like go through these really weird daily plot stuff, and it's very funny, and the cast are really good in general. It's kind of a situation like it's kind of a situation like Raya the Last Dragon, where the cast of the show is so good that even if the plot isn't really like up to quality, you're gonna get a really good cast like running the show overall. Even Jason Mantzoukas, who I'm not the biggest fan of him just because I feel like he plays the same character all the time. I think he's pretty good in the show. He's really funny. Kamiko Glenn as Bridget, I think is pretty fun.
Jason is one of those actors who gets paid to be himself.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's one of those very lucky actors who gets paid to be himself. But I'm also kind of looking forward to a dramatic role for him.
Oh, for sure. Like he's one. Like I kind of feel like he's similar in Jason Sudeikis, where like Sudeikis for a while played the same guy. Then he like had that movie when Anne Hathaway that he did. I don't remember the name of it, but it was pretty okay from what I can remember. Colossal. He had a
Yes,
colossal. Yeah, he was in Colossal, and then since then the guy's been just reaching out and doing his own branching out and doing all these different roles, which led him up to Ted Lasso. Fifth time we mentioned Ted Lasso, but that's because it's a good show. Watch Ted Lasso, please. We will promote it until it gets cancelled or ends.
Or Bill Lawrence finishes it.
Yes. So overall, yeah. So anyway, and it's just close enough. Well, the reason why I think Close Enough is a pretty good show to sort of like talk about is that I don't know anyone else who's watched it. This is kind of the issue that I have. Like I find the show to be kind of an underrated little gem right now, but I don't know anyone who's gone out of their way to watch Close Enough. Just because like Netflix has a similar problem with Apple, but all the Netflix's case, it's more of a sort of like overabundance of stuff that they have, where like they'll promote one thing, but with the other thing they'll just sort of go, yeah, this is here, and it's like, oh, okay, but that thing looks more interesting than that thing, and they're like, oh no, but you want that, but not this, and it's like, but okay, that's cool, but this looks more interesting. Oh no, but just have that, and I don't know. I kind of feel like Netflix has that really weird problem of promoting movies and shows where they just sort of go, have this thing, and no one really wants it, but they have that one thing in the background there clearly, but they don't really want to promote it. And I kind of feel like Close Enough has that issue, especially here in the UK, where like no one really promotes it and is talking about it, which is a shame because I think it's a very fun show, and each episode has got its own entertaining story, and also a really good series of like gags and whatnot. It's a fun little show to watch, and I dig it. And I can't help but recommend it to anyone who is looking for something different from the usual stuff they tend to watch.
Fair enough. Would you say that if you like the regular show, you'd like what?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's essentially the same team, which is really cool. Like after when this project was announced, like way back in like 2017 or 2016, it was initially going to be part of like the TBS animation slot, but I think it didn't get picked up, and it didn't get picked up until HBO Max came along, which is great because again, like Quintel is a very talented individual, and along with like all the other animators who've worked on it, so it's good to see like a lot of the people from who's worked on regular show came back to help out with it. And just to answer the overall question, yeah, I think people who like the regular show would probably love Close Enough.
And with that, this is our show for today.
Mm.
Let's do our usual stuff. Animation. Well, that not animation. Artwork. Well, technically animation. I might ask her to do an animation if we're bored. Artwork is done by the one and the only Emily, who, if it wasn't for the fact that she is living her party girl life and actually going outside and having friends, unlike me, well, while she's doing this, she would be on the show more regularly because she is a very busy lady. She can be found at Emily Beast on Art. If you want her to do stuff, I honestly, I could not tell you what her prices are at the moment, but if you like the artwork you're seeing right now, because you're most definitely watching this on YouTube, then give it a shout. Jonathan James Scullion is gonna
That's not
be
even my. That's not even my last. That's not even my middle name. Why?
you
Why
are
James?
lore wise Jonathan James Scullion. He is on the Twitter handle the Sean Scullion. He is not on Instagram and Facebook. Don't try and find us on Facebook.
Yeah, don't do
Purely
that.
for
That'd be a bit too
mainly
weird.
because Sean isn't on it that much,
Yeah, and
and
also
I'm
just
only on it to talk to my family.
also just so we can answer for both of us, that'd be pretty weird. Don't do that.
I need friends, Sean. They can find me where.
Well, do it. Fine, do it with Martin, but don't do it with me.
If I
Martin
don't
needs
know your
friends.
name, I instantly block you. You can find me on Twitter at Bennett789. In fact, if you're watching this, you've probably found one of my social medias through my excellent hashtagging.
Listen, if I am listen for the listener here, if I am
Let me
brutal,
finish the outro and then you
I
can
was
talk.
sorry.
I have an outro to finish. You can also find me on Instagram where you can see the creepy pictures that I took this morning. And most of the time, food, if I'm completely honest, because I like cooking a good meal. We have been the Walking Skull. Thank you very much for walking around our skull, and we'll see you next time.